An Eastern Kentucky county official goes to court to answer to a list of charges against him. 2 robbers still on the run after tying up a man in his home with tape. And new developments this morning on the search for 2 escapees who broke out of a maximum security prison.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT Mid-Morning.
And good morning, I'm Barbara Bailey. Bill is off today. Welcome to Mid-Morning. The heat is on again today, and we want to check in right away with meteorologist Jim Caldwell to see how our day is shaping up. Jim, what about it?
This has a chance to be the first day of the year to hit 90 degrees. We were in the upper 80s yesterday, 88 degrees as a matter of fact, out at the airport. So today has a better chance to get 1 or 2 degrees up the thermometer. Now, right now, in the 10 o'clock hour, excuse me, it's contagious, Barb, 80 degrees right now in Lexington. We're already at 80, so that's already some pretty impressive stuff. 70s are also showing up, upper 70s just down the road along I-75. Defender will remain on the quiet side for most of your day. However, an isolated shower or thunderstorm will be possible, and this is going to become an issue. The muggy factor, the humidity levels really climb, especially Friday and Saturday. We'll get to that tropical level. We'll take a closer look at all of this coming up for you in just a few minutes.
All right, Jim, thank you. And this morning, 2 men behind a home invasion are still on the run. A man who lives on Aylesford Place says he answered a knock at the door and found 2 men with guns. They ended up wrapping the victim in duct tape before taking off with cash and drugs. The victim was eventually able to free himself. He ran to a nearby home for help. The victim says he did have a gun, but that it wasn't loaded. Police do not have a good description of the robbers. A man charged with killing one brother and hurting another will face a judge. 21-year-old Jermaine Anderson will be arraigned today on a murder and assault charge. Lexington police say he shot and killed Montez Graves Sunday night on Whitney Avenue and injured Graves' brother. Shortly after the murder, police arrested Anderson for fleeing and evading, evidence tampering, and drug charges. They charged him with murder yesterday. An elected official accused of harassing a young woman appeared in court this morning. Perry County Clerk Haven King pleaded not guilty this morning. Police charged him with harassment, reckless driving, menacing, and stalking. A woman says that back in April, King followed her for miles and harassed her for driving a car with a handicap sticker. The woman recorded the incident. The judge set a trial date of January 19th. New this morning at 10, we're learning new details about an officer-involved shooting in Scott County. A report in the Georgetown News Graphic says a man who was shot by officers last month was armed with a stolen handgun. William Ray McKee was camping in some woods near North Elkhorn Creek when police say he threatened officers with that gun. The officers then shot McKee. Police think McKee robbed a Franklin County gas station using a sock. He's also a person of interest in burglaries at a couple of horse farms in Scott County. Paris Pike is back open after a crash that sent 2 people to the hospital. Just before 6 o'clock, a truck flipped over a guardrail on Paris Pike near Mahmood Lane. Police tell WKYT that a car pulled out in front of the driver. 2 people inside the truck were taken to the hospital as a precaution. Paris Pike was shut down at that intersection, but police were able to reopen the road just before 8 o'clock. Well, this morning, police are going around an Eastern Kentucky community looking for answers in the disappearance of a Knott County woman. Natasha Fugit Jones has not been seen for several weeks, but police tell WKYT they weren't notified of her disappearance until this week. A former president is getting behind a program to broaden curriculum in Eastern Kentucky schools. Former President Bill Clinton says the plan will specifically help school districts expand learning in science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM. The initiative will provide professional development opportunities for 3,000 teachers. Kentucky.com says the effort will engage more than 80,000 students in 19 Kentucky counties. Now to a developing national story. 2 escaped prisoners from New York may have been seen in Philadelphia. A cab driver reportedly picked up 2 men and drove them to a train station. After the driver took another passenger to the Philadelphia airport, he called police and told them that the 2 men he took to the station looked like fugitives David Sweat and Richard Matt. Both men escaped the maximum security Clinton Correctional Facility nearly a week ago. Police are not confirming the sighting yet. They're reviewing surveillance video, hoping to find more clues. An American has died fighting against ISIS in Syria. As Mark Albert reports from Washington, dozens more Americans are suspected of being involved in the fighting without the permission of the U.S. government.
I can confirm that U.S. citizen Keith Broomfield was killed in Syria. We're providing all possible consular assistance.
The U.S. State Department says 36-year-old Keith Broomfield was killed as he fought alongside Kurdish forces inside Syria against ISIS militants, reportedly on June 3rd. Broomfield, from Bolton, Massachusetts, an hour west of Boston, was married and had no children. Friends say they don't believe he had any military background, but that he became angered by ISIS's brutality.
My understanding was he was motivated by what he saw on TV, and it spurred him to action.
A woman identifying herself as Broomfield's sister wrote on Facebook, quote, "My unspoken prayers and tears for those in the Middle East were answered when he left to fight. I didn't think I would lose him." Friends say Broomfield traveled to the region just months ago. He is believed to be the first known death of a U.S. citizen in the battle against the terror group. It's unknown how many other Americans are fighting against ISIS. The U.S. has not yet said exactly how Broomfield died. Mark Albert, CBS News, Washington.
Now, pro-Kurdish social media accounts are now calling Broomfield a martyr. The U.S. estimates 180 Americans are fighting on the opposite side for ISIS. Acura is recalling almost 50,000 SUVs because the automatic emergency braking systems can malfunction. The recall involves 2014 and 2015 MDX and RLX SUVs. There are no reports of accidents or injuries in the U.S., but the issue did cause 2 accidents in Japan. Well, Bluebell says they may have figured out how their ice cream became contaminated with listeria at their Oklahoma plant. The creamery thinks the bacteria is likely linked to a non-sanitary room at the facility. The Texas company recalled the product after the ice cream was linked to illnesses in 4 states. There were 3 deaths in Kansas. Bluebell says the facility in Alabama was free of listeria. It's not clear when Bluebell will re-enter the market. Carnival is banning customers from bringing bottled water onto its ships, but the cruise line says the problem is not H2O. The new policy is designed to halt travelers from smuggling alcohol on board. It says when behavioral problems happen on board, smuggled alcohol often appears to be a factor. In addition, the company says the change should speed up the boarding process. Carnival says because of the change of policy, it's lowering the price of bottled water that customers can purchase on board. The new policy takes effect July 9th.